Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to Goldrush Crypto Daily, your intelligence hub for market-moving crypto news. So today, we're diving into a development that has the power to unlock trillions of dollars into the real-time payment space. The biggest story hitting my radar is a major compliance deadline tied to global banking standard ISO 2022, and one project, Zebec Network, is perfectly positioned to capitalize, potentially leading to 40 times plus gains by integrating with the same financial giants that run the world. This is the ultimate bullish narrative. Compliance, institutions, and a massive supply squeeze. But first, do yourself a favor. Smash that like button and subscribe. You don't want to miss the Moonvember that's about to start. We have to kick off with the clock ticking down to the most significant development in TradFi and crypto convergence. The November 22nd deadline for ISO 2022 compliance. As analyst at ZBCN shared, there's a strong 85% probability that Zebec will achieve full ISO 2022 compliance this month. For those unfamiliar, ISO 2022 is the new global financial messaging standard. It's replacing the old SWIFT message system that banks have used for decades. Why does this matter? Because banks must switch by November 22nd or face severe penalties and disruptions. This deadline is not optional. It's a global mandate for cross-border payments. The old system was clunky. The new ISO 2022 standard uses rich structured data. Think of it as upgrading from a simple text message to a highly detailed, instantly processable spreadsheet. The critical insight from our ZBCN is that Zebec, which already processes $52 million in real-time payroll across 97 countries, is actively integrating this new messaging directly into its smart contracts. Since there's no official certification, compliance means aligning with the standard, which Zebec's on-time history, like their MyCA and SOC2 compliance, makes highly probable. For crypto, ISO 20022 is the Rosetta Stone that allows decentralized platforms to speak the same regulatory language as the world's central banks and institutions. If Zebec becomes fully ISO 20022 compliant, it unlocks the $10 trillion global payment rails. This is the pathway to those game-changing possibilities, Visa and Mastercard payroll pilots, and flows from giants like Walmart and Deutsche Bank. This is why the price targets post-compliance, ranging from a 4 times to a 40 times plus market cap increase, are justifiable. My perspective is that this is the definition of a dark horse play, as our ZBCN calls it. While everyone focuses on the traditional ISO 20022 compliant coins like XRP or XLM, Zebec is unique because it's applying the standard directly to the high-demand, compliant niche of real-time payroll and RWA, real-world asset tokenization. Compliance reduces risk for institutions, and reduced risk unlocks capital. The November deadline creates an artificial urgency that few projects can capitalize on. Zebec is the digital payments infrastructure that is designed to plug right into the new global financial operating system. This is a massive, time-sensitive, bullish signal. Speaking of integrating with the new financial operating system, this entire ISO 20022 push is happening alongside the project's most powerful institutional partnerships. If you missed our last episode, Zebec Network recently secured a spot on Circle's Arc Testnet. Community members like AGhostWeb3X and Angeloff YHVH are amplifying the sheer weight of the partners involved. Let me read off the roster of other organizations testing on Circle's Arc: BlackRock, Deutsche Bank, SBI Holdings, Amazon Web Services, BNY Mellon, and Goldman Sachs. Zebec is working alongside these giants on their closed network, which, honestly, essentially makes Zebec one of the foundational pieces of this institutional-grade DeFi plumbing. What are they building? Zebec defines payroll in Web3. When you look at institutions like BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, they are deeply involved in real-world assets. Zebec's payment streaming technology is, well, the perfect rail for the yield-bearing, compliant, tokenized assets that these firms are going to issue. The combination of ISO 20022 compliance and Arc integration is a one-two punch that, honestly, very few other projects can match. This isn't just a speculation game anymore. This is a utility play that's being pressure-tested by some of the most powerful entities in finance. Anytime you see a small-cap project positioned directly next to BlackRock and Goldman Sachs in a co-development context, the long-term bullish implications for its utility token, ZBCN, are just off the charts. They're literally building the economic operating system that will define global finance, and Zebec is a core application on that OS. Now, let's look at the market mechanics, right? Because compliance and adoption, those are only half the battle. The other half is scarcity, and the ZBCN chart is setting up perfectly for a major supply squeeze. Analyst Captain Jack 1230 highlights a crucial and honestly often overlooked point: ZBCN's full supply will be circulating in just 5 months. By April 2026, the entire 100 billion token supply will be unlocked. This is a major contrast to a lot of large-cap competitors that are barely halfway through their multi-year vesting schedules. Why is this a major bullish factor? Well, in crypto, dilution is the enemy of price. Dilution happens when new, previously restricted tokens, usually team or VC allocations, are unlocked and dumped onto the market. Captain Jack is pointing out that Zebec's vesting schedule for its team allocation is nearly done, with the final phase completing by March 2026. So, what this means is that as institutional demand, driven by ISO 20022 and Arc, ramps up over the next 6 to 12 months, the supply coming onto the market is going to remain stable. When demand increases against a stable or non-dilutive supply, the result is, well, price appreciation. The long-term risk of a team-driven sell-off significantly decreases just as the institutional adoption catalysts are hitting their peak. The supply squeeze narrative is pretty powerful. You've got limited circulating supply combined with exponentially growing real-world utility. Honestly, this seals the deal for me. The biggest counter-argument against any token with a large supply is always, what about the dilution? Zebec is solving that problem now. By reaching full circulation quickly, they're removing one of the largest psychological barriers for major investors. So they can invest knowing that the pressure is coming from organic selling, not programmed unlocks. The long-term vision is clear: compliant payment rails, institutional backing, and controlled supply. This perfect storm makes the potential 40 times targets look entirely achievable, not just speculative. The smart money always looks ahead at the supply curve, and this curve is basically screaming buy. Alright, let's recap the 3 monumental factors driving the ZBCN gold rush right now. First up, the ISO 20022 deadline. The mandatory November 22nd compliance deadline is forcing traditional finance to adopt new standards, and ZBCN is positioned to be a core compliant partner, unlocking trillions in payment flows. Second, Arc integration. Zebec is officially co-developing the future of finance alongside BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, and AWS on Circle's institutional-grade Arc Testnet. And third, supply scarcity. The token's full supply will be circulating within 5 months, drastically reducing long-term dilution risk, right as institutional demand peaks. This is honestly one of the clearest examples of a utility-first project successfully bridging the decentralized world with regulated traditional finance. So, what do you think about the ISO 20022 deadline? Will this be the catalyst that sends ZBCN to that 15-cent plus target? Drop your thoughts and questions in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you can be part of the gold rush. And remember, this is not financial advice. Always do your own research.